Hi everyone! Welcome to episode
Hello,
6 of GuildGab! I
welcome everyone.
am AuroraPeachy,
And I am Akasaurus Rex.
and this is the season 1 of the Guild Wars 2 Living Story finale. Extra
Wrap up
finale.
review.
Epilogue. Yes. Wrapping up
I
the official end of season 1 if you don't count the feature patch that's coming up in a couple weeks. This week we had the epilogue, which we saw the giant drill, which for some reason I'm just in love with. I just thought that thing was the coolest thing ever.
It's pretty freaking cool. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool, man.
It exploded in this giant
Mm.
explosion of what looked like nuclear proportions.
Yeah, that was one hell of a boom.
That was really cool. I actually heard that the cutscene didn't trigger for some people.
Like me, yes.
Really?
Looks like it was bugged when I tuned in
Oh.
on like the patch day. I was kind of like, okay, cool. Like the mail came up. I was like, I was expecting a cutscene, and then like later when I checked on the website, it was saying like, you'll be greeted by a new cutscene. I was like, I will. Or like
Oh.
if you're like level 30 and up, they said you'll be greeted by
Right.
it, and I like tuned in on first on one of my lower characters, and I was like, ooh. So then I went back in on my 30 plus ones and went, okay, cutscene. No
Oh,
cutscene. So
interesting.
I had to go on YouTube to find it.
I wonder if it was something with, like, if you logged in first with an under 30 character, maybe it didn't trigger then for any of your characters or something. But then I was hearing
Yeah,
weird stuff like people saw the cutscene, but there was no sound. And just
yeah.
random, like, errors. Either they didn't see it right or didn't see it at all. I saw it, and luckily I was recording, so I in
Wow.
my highlights video, there was some people who said, thank you for including this because I didn't even get to see it, or I saw it without sound. So that's kind of a shame. Um,
You can actually like go into Lion's Arch and like talk to a dude who will like show it to you again now too. So
okay. I was
if you
gonna
want to see it
say,
again,
because they've
by
been including stuff like that. Like if you want to see it again, you just talk to
there's
this
a
NPC.
there's a sylvari by the what's left of the lion statue, and when you talk to
Mm,
him, he'll you can click on the tell me what happened, and it'll show you the cutscene again
okay, good
there.
to know. Very good to know.
But yeah, Arena does have bug problems. My game often crashes in a real
Hmm.
frustrating way. It'll crash where everything goes black and this little like white screen will say you're having troubles with your connection, and it's like there's no firewall up or anything for it. And it's really annoying because it'll pause like that and there'll be no way for me to get out, and I'll literally have to just reboot my entire computer. Um,
I had a problem like that a while ago, but it was because my video card died.
yeah.
But I was having a problem a while ago where every time I would close the game, the error screen would come up saying the game crashed. Like as I was
Oh.
closing it, it was weird. I don't know,
No.
but they're pretty
Oh
quick.
well.
All I know is they're pretty quick at fixing bugs, and I would rather take a couple bugs with all these consistent updates and patches and wonderful free things that we get than
We are we are
getting
getting
a
pretty
perfectly
spoiled.
polished thing every 6 months. I would much prefer
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, because like it's like the things we're talking about before. We're getting a lot of stuff. Like we got a
Hmm.
ton of Bonjournal stuff to talk about today.
Quick
So
side note: I did
yeah.
finally beat the hologram. The Scarlet
Oh,
hologram. I
congrats.
really thought that I was
Congratulations.
never going to get into a group, and this was like 2 days before the patch, like, was over. I just randomly was in this random overflow. Just decided, what the heck, I'll do try it for as long as they survive, and we ended up beating it. So I was like, woo! So, side note, yay! I officially did that part. Anyway, um, so this is the Battle for Lion's Arch, the Aftermath. It's not a full feature patch by any means. But it's a very nice bonus where we just get a couple little things, including the things we already mentioned in Lion's Arch, which now you can go to Lion's Arch and see the drill wreckage in the water.
That's
You can
really
go
cool.
down there and swim underneath and look at all the wreckage, and you can swim down into the hole where the drill was and see the little ley line pulses of energy. The thing I was kind of disappointed was that's the only place that's changed as far as like in the cutscene that we saw
Right.
last time with with the Mordremoth and everything. These ley lines, at least to me, it looked like it created these cracks and crevices in the land as this spike of magic
Right.
went along. There's no evidence of that in the world.
Yeah, that's
I was
that's
a
a good
little
point.
disappointed with that because I mean that was such a big, huge, gigantic thing. At least I thought, and then there's no evidence of it other than that little hole at the bottom of Lion's Arch.
I could see them having troubles trying to implement something like that though. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean this is still a good point, but
I just think
yeah,
I think it really would have added something big to change the world,
yeah,
change the face of Tyria forever. Well, we're defacing Tyria
that
for
would be
putting cracks and
nice.
crevices in it of magic pulsing out. I don't know.
Well, hope experience more because it's I'm really impressed by how things have been changing, at least in Lion's
Oh
Arch.
yeah.
Like
Oh, poor
with the
Lion's
wreckage of
Arch.
that, like checking in and to see the wreckage of this massive piece, like in the area where the Vigil's headquarters are, in the southern Fort Mariner, I think it is. There's a massive, giant,
Hush.
chunk up there.
Sorry,
No.
I apologize for my dog.
I, I really like the way that he replied, no. Yeah, it was,
Poor Lion's
yeah, I
Arch.
was really impressed by that because when we were talking in our pre getting ready stuff, I was saying how there's a lot of people that complain about this need for permanent content. Like this, they keep saying, "Oh, nothing's permanent." I I honestly can't quite understand that headset because I'm not looking for that really, and I mean it's kind of not what the living story is supposed to be about, and it's. I mean, just as I was mentioning to you before, it's like, well, it's kind of almost like life in a way, It's like you can't go back in your life to little periods that you like and relive it for a billion times to
Right.
do that NRG crap of going through that a million times. So it's fun. It reminds me of how in Warcraft and their expansions, they'd have these pre-events that lasted a short time before the expansion comes out, and I haven't seen or played through most of those events, but a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, remember when this happened and that done? Yeah, remember when that did." So it's a sentimental, cool thing that happened, whereas you had to be there to experience it.
Right.
And I think that's cool that there's people that have been able to experience that. And it's kind of cool to hear they're talking about it. And we have the same thing here with, I mean, if you weren't there for the Tower Nightmare, you weren't there for when it first came out, and then to its conclusion. And then finally for this, which is the whole Lion's Arch thing, which has been so big and epic to destroy the main city hub, and
Yeah.
to have I think it's gone through at least 3 main visual changes with the start of these 4 major patches, and I really like it. I love the music and the feel and the look of it now. It's so wonderfully melancholy and it's kind of soothing in a way, but it's
It
my goth
is.
side coming out, and I really like it.
The new music track, excuse me, is I didn't realize it when I first heard it in game, but when I went to ArenaNet puts a lot of their background music and their new music on SoundCloud for everybody to freely
Okay.
listen to and download, which is wonderful. And so I went there and listened to it. It's actually, I think it's called Lion's Arch Lament, and
All right, cool.
it's a slower version of Guild Wars 1's music for Lion's Arch.
Oh, cool.
And once I realized that, I almost started
Uh-huh.
crying. I'm like, "Oh, Lion's Arch, no!" It's
Has to really pluck at the heartstrings, yeah.
It did. They did a very wonderful job on that. That made me very happy to hear that. Because any nod back to Guild Wars 1, of course, makes me happy because nostalgia.
I just love the way that the clouds look, this beautiful brownish black haze with little bits of shafts of light coming out. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so cool, and it gets such a lovely feeling. It's like, yeah, this season thing, it's ended, and we got to prepare for what's coming next. And with
Indeed.
that, should we jump into the epilogue?
Well,
Um,
the
Dead
dead
end
end
bar stuff?
bar,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The including final ending of the show. That's what we're the
Well, these
season.
not really, because these characters aren't going anywhere, and Timey even sets up kind of the next. She's the one that comes in and says, "You guys did hear that dragon roar, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're celebrating, and they are celebrating. I am convinced they're all drunk." In that
Oh
cutscene, Rox
yeah,
has got a
definitely.
giant mug in her hand, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Um,
Roxy's my happy kitty. Yeah.
and Marjorie talks about her ribs hurting. Bram's limping and sitting down most of the time because his leg's broken. So I like that they're not just all magically better. They're recovering. They're
Yeah.
recovering
Yeah.
after the battle, but they're still happy and they're celebrating. So that was really cool to see. Timey comes limping in, which tugged at my heartstrings. I'm like, somebody
That was
pick
so
her up!
adorable.
Somebody pick her up and carry her! I'm like,
Yeah.
like I'm standing right here. I could just
I know.
plop her down. She's so tiny.
I really wish that we had like a special emote where we could like pick her up and hug her and go, would you? And then like she'd like be like, all like, stop it, put me down. You're so freaking cute, oh you.
I like how
'Cause that's what
she
I want
went
to
and
do with
sat
her.
next to Bram, because of course her and Bram are buddies now. Um, but she's limping over to Bram, and he like limps over and sits down. I'm like, oh, they're the same.
Yeah, I know. Arena's really pushing the Q factor on this.
Yeah.
I mean, that group period, I really like what they've done with this group now, and especially going forward. I'm cool to hang out with these guys for like years because I
Mm.
love them personally. They're fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
especially Braum and Timey. That's just so adorable. I also really liked it when as a guy who's often been characterized as being quite bear-like, not in the gay sense, but in just the animal bear-like sense, I really liked it, and also that I like hanging out with girls as friends more than guys. I really had a real empathetic moment with Braum being
Yeah.
surrounded by all these girls teasing him, being like, "Oh, you're like about how bear-like," because he's going like. And then like, oh, is that a bear or something? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah. I just kind of really thought it was adorable. These
I
girls are
found
just ripped.
some of the lines a little cheesy, but you know what?
Oh,
I was like, they're all drunk, they're having fun, they don't give a crap. So it was really enjoyable. They were, they're just friends hanging out. And
yeah.
maybe perhaps jumping ahead a tiny bit here.
Okay.
What did you think about what Rox said about not wanting to be in the warband anymore?
Oh yeah, that's like big news for her because
Yeah,
she's
I
been.
was like,
Yeah,
what?
yeah, well, it's like
And thinking
she's been
Whitlock's
all
gonna
the way.
kill her?
I know. Well, she's been like, of course, like thinking all this way that she desperately wants to go into the warband,
Mm-hmm.
but of course, like, people have been criticizing Arena's writing and stuff, but this last bit, how it's been developing and where we are now, I think they did a good job because there's a lot of conversations that Rox and Braum have had with each other throughout the battle and escape and whatnot patches, where if you're fighting with them and you just listen to them, they have a lot of like voiced conversations about the warband and their friendship. So they go into like a lot of talking about that. So Rox has had a good amount of time to think even more about this stuff, and then um, so yeah, and like for her to say that she's been ignoring Ritlock's summons because Ritlock
I
has been
was like, oh
summoning
my
her
gosh. I was like, he's gonna
to
off you
come to
for
the
that,
Citadel.
not for disobeying his orders. Like just because. See, this
Yeah,
is what I didn't want. I didn't want our character delivering the finishing blow, and then all the other characters get screwed out of whatever glory just because we physically killed her. Like, as a character,
I don't.
I would say, like, I would go to him and I would say, tell him you dealt the finishing blow. If that's going to get you into the warband, I mean, you were there, you helped. That
Well,
doesn't.
I mean, I don't think. What I would like to hope that Ritlock wouldn't be that petty. Um,
Right.
he can't be. he can really hold a grudge against, a certain man. But which I just love, like listening to his conversations with Logan. The insults he hurls at that human, it's just like brilliant. But I don't think Ritlock is that petty, and especially I do genuinely think that he's been starting to feel a bit of a fatherly affection for her. So I think like with like him telling her, and Scarlet was kind of, like she was there. I mean, she helped
Right.
fight and kill Scarlet. Scarlet's gone. I don't think Ritlock was expecting like her to actually have Scarlet's head on a platter delivered to him and have
Right.
have like Rock say like, yeah, I ripped it off her shoulders. I mean, like
Right.
Legion has. Have you played through like the charge starting zones much?
I actually not a little bit. My char
Okay, well, 'cause, like,
character only went through a tiny bit of the personal story.
I mean, like they can be quite brutal with their discipline and whatnot, but it's usually only like when like you're a real jerk when you end up doing that
Mm.
stuff. Like I mean, like if you're Blood Legion as a char, you do basically challenge your legionnaire, um, who's in your warband, and you basically end up fighting him, and you have a choice to kill him or let him go. And like
Mm.
Ritlock even says like, like it's like all revolutions are just another assassination or something, like so he's a um the char can be pretty kind of laid back when it comes to some things too. So I mean, like it's like
I mean, if
I
it's
don't
Ritlock's warband,
kill her.
I would imagine he makes the rules as far as who can get in
Yeah,
and what requirements. But
yeah. So like I doubt he'll kill her. I
I don't.
I
I
think
really don't
Rox
think.
is just being really letting her own fears
Yeah,
and
yeah. I'm
get
thinking
to
that she doesn't
her.
want. She has decided that she doesn't want to be in the warband as much as she thought because she realizes now maybe that
Yeah,
you know she has these friends and she fits in this group.
yeah.
So she doesn't need the warband. Yes, it would be a wonderful char prestige thing, but maybe she's realizing that if she does that, it will take her away from this group, and this group has become important to her because she's hanging
I
out with
think
them. And
she's I think she's like subconsciously discovered that this is her warband.
there you
That
go. That's a good way of putting it.
throughout these patches, she's kind of like realized that this is her warband, and like her conversations with Bram have been like explaining Char Society, explaining what the warband means to a Char,
Right.
and all those things, and I think like when like Bram was hurt and her deciding to stand by him, and the fact that everybody kind of worked together for this, I think she's kind of realizing that this is her warband. It just doesn't happen to like they just don't happen to all be Char, which is
Right.
fitting into the whole arena net message of bringing the races together. So I think it's just her like fearing Ritlock being disapproving. I don't think Ritlock is nearly that disapproving. It's kind of like a kind of again this kind of fatherly daughterly thing of like like somebody, I think like, oh, my parents are gonna be so disappointed in me, whereas like your
Mm.
parents are just like, just come home, let us
Right.
congratulate you, talk to you, this,
Right.
you're our son or daughter or whatever, it's like I'm
Maybe.
sure Ritlock would be disappointed, but still, he of any Char should understand deep down what she's feeling, because he was part of
Yeah.
Destiny's Edge to begin with. So
Right.
even though
Plus,
he's bitter about it
he's been
now,
a part of war
but
bands, and he's been not a part of war bands. He's been by himself. He's been with different groups and stuff, and
yeah,
so he
exactly.
knows all of the dynamics of what it means to be in and not be in. Um, maybe I kind of think that maybe Rox. I mean, the last time we saw her directly confront Ritlock was in that one cutscene, not cutscene, but the little story instance in Lion's Arch, where she brought Ritlock to Quaddle's tail, I think it
Yep.
was, and he was just kind of like unimpressed. He was like, I don't need it. And she's like, but I've been carrying
know.
this thing around for like weeks
For
and it stinks. And
months.
now you don't want it? And he's just like, nah, I believe ya or whatever. So maybe she kind of is like, after that, once that kind of brewed in her head, she's like, maybe she was kind of disappointed. Like, well, maybe maybe I can't impress him, or, that jerk, he didn't even, want to Quaddle's tail. So I don't know. But
I think she's just like nervous. She's nervous about confronting Ridlock, and now she's like letting all these like worst case scenarios come into her head. And
yeah, I think so.
When you're a Char, the worst case scenarios pretty worse. They're pretty bad.
Right.
When you're a Char, like bad scenarios consist of like ripping your horns off and stabbing you in the eye with it. As your character like refers to some enemies you come across. I'm gonna rip off your horns and stab your tail to the ground. It's like, yeah, that's the Char, like when they're angry. So it's like for like her to like think of like being all nervous to think like, I want to be with these guys are my family. They're my war band, but that's such a strange thing for a Char to do. And now she's like probably like letting all of her self-consciousness,
right?
The fears come into it, and it's just like some teenage girl going like, ah, or boy, because boy can be just as insane, but it's
excuse me.
I think she's just nervous about it. But I like heard like some people say like maybe that they're gonna try to paint Ritlock as like a villain, but I really hope not, and I really don't think so, because there's
I don't see that happening.
Evidence to that. It's just Rox overreacting, I think.
I mean, I normally see it like Rox is helping me see the Char as a race, as not the bad guys, because I love Rox now. I wasn't crazy about her in the beginning, but now I love her because they've developed her more, and so I couldn't see them making Ritlock a
I love
guy.
Ritlock.
Now Evan, maybe Evan Nashblade, I could see him turning, because he's really bitter about some things. So that I could see.
I hope Evan becomes like a really good guy, because for me the Char have always been good guys, but
right.
Well, at least like not being a Guild Wars 1 player, which is understandable because the Char weren't fully developed back then. But as far as like starting from Guild Wars 2, it's like, yeah, Char, badass. Oh yeah, there's other races, Char, So, so for me, it's like kind of trying to understand the other races. So I'm kind of coming from the opposite that you are. But yeah, it's but I really love where Braum and Timey are going. Those two are so freaking adorable.
Yeah, we're gonna see a lot of good things from them. I can just
really
see it.
Those arena developers, like when you watch that live stream about Timey, and all three of them are just totally like into Timey and her development. It's like they all know she's ridiculously adorable, and it's like they keep making her so adorable, especially juxtaposed to Braum, this giant Viking dude.
Yeah.
And like her conversation with him, when like she was just kind of doing like a henpecking conversation of blah 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 blah, like he's just going uh-huh.
That was cute.
And like she's like, Braum, I like you. You're big and dumb. It's like, shut up. I love those two so much. And then we the other big thing was that we found out about Marjorie's sister.
We knew about her sister, but we had never, our characters had never physically met her. Yeah, and so she was kind of introduced to everyone and came to pay a visit to Marjorie because Marjorie's mother was worried about her. So she came to check up on her little sister. So that was cute.
And we have even more female characters coming into this.
Right? Yeah.
It's like more and more female characters.
Yeah, you're right.
They're really progressive arena. It's like amazing how aggressive they are with like, gender and in video games. And I know I keep saying that, but it's just I like talking about history and gender studies, and I lecture on it sometimes. So I'm I find it fascinating. But yeah, they keep on doing it, but it feels really natural.
It
because
does. It does.
there are like big male leads in this world, like Whitlock, Logan, and whoever else. But yeah, it just happens that our main group we're interacting with are all beautiful women, or cat women, or little tiny. So it's there's just lots of female characters, which is so rare, and just even the fantasy genre, because you just often just end up seeing so many guys fulfilling all these different roles, whereas and there's only like usually like a token girl or two,
Mm-hmm.
whereas wonderfully, because of course I like women, and this is just like girls galore, yay! And there's just like Bram. That's more than enough guys for me. Don't need any more guys. Bring in another girl
Excuse me.
lady. Bring in another. Bring in Rox's sister or Rox's girlfriend from her earlier. That that would be awesome if like Rox's like best mate girlfriend came in, and then we'd have two giant cat girls in there. That'd be awesome. Yes. Yeah. Is there much more about the epilogue you want to
Um,
mention?
Something just about the living story. Do you think that since this new Destiny's Edge 2.0, as as everyone likes to call them, um, there's five of them, but this time there's no Sylvari, and there's two
Yes.
humans. Um,
Yeah.
do you think by doing this and by making the villain of season one a Sylvari, and there be no good Sylvari, um, do you think this could be like a preparation almost for season two, kind of like trying to kind of distance Sylvari from the other races, to not necessarily to say that they could be the bad guys,
Yeah.
but to maybe just say maybe we don't know all that we think we know about these Sylvari. For example, I heard that if you there's different NPCs in Lion's Arch that are going around like looking for their lost loved ones, or trying to find their children so they can bury them, and like all this dark stuff.
Intense.
And I heard that there's an NPC that you can go up to if you're playing as a Sylvari. They'll actually like have a different dialogue, saying like I don't saying that like they don't really trust you, like why are you talking to me, you're one of those people, kind of like kind of starting to be a little racist against Sylvari, some NPCs, and rightfully
really?
so. If if your child died in this attack that a Sylvari led, that might make some of these people say maybe we don't know everything we know about these Sylvari. So do you think maybe that's intentional, or?
I think so. I like it, especially what you're talking with this dialogue, with the reactivity to Sylvari. Um, just on a tiny tangent note here, it's just because I always play as Char during the dead end bar sequence when I talked with Rox. She was like saying like, yeah, I bet you're wondering what a Char is doing in a human bar in a human city, and then like my guy responds saying, well, I'm here too. I thought that was kind of
Oh,
funny.
really? Interesting.
I thought was kind of funny. It's like, hey, baby,
Interesting.
cats unite. Yeah, I really like that idea. Yeah, it's one of the things I've always been noticing was that there is no NPC Sylvari in our little band of sisters. I was gonna say band of brothers, but there's there's only one broham. So, so yeah, we haven't had any plants in our group.
Right.
And with where things have been going, I mean, they've been dropping all these little hints, developing more about the Sylvari. We know ArenaNet really loves the Sylvari, and for good reason. They're very unique as far as fantasy tropes go. To have an elven plant race is really, really interesting, really unique, but like for her connection to Kaith was kind of brought up with like the backpack thing with that note, and then
Yeah.
and then with Mordramoth, we know being the dragon that's coming, he's definitely got some kind of connection with the Sylvari.
He's got to.
So it looks like we're going to be delving more into Sylvari, which is great.
Right.
I think it's fantastic. Even though I don't really play as them much, I like them as a culture and a race. So I'm all on board on exploring them more. And I love the idea personally. I like the idea that the Sylvari are in fact Elder Dragon minions that have just been corrupted to be good. And I like the idea of that if we do find this out, then it's like the Sylvari get to have a lot of navel gazing, as it were, to find out who they are, but also just the idea those that truly are noble will just hang on to that noble sentiment even more, because people will be like, yeah, but you're actually, supposed to be a minion of the Elder Dragons, and like saying like, no, I'm going to define myself the way that I want to be. We may
That's
be
exactly what Scarlet said.
Yeah.
Now we don't
except
trust
she went
you
kind of
even more.
insane, but yeah. Prior to probably finding Mordremoth's essence or mind, saying like, hello, baby, yeah, she was on that bent of like saying, no, I don't like being told what to do. And for those Sylvari that want to be good and really good, they can just be saying like, I don't care if I'm meant to be evil, I want to be good. Just like Hellboy kind of thing, which I think is a really cool.
And but you know what? You can say the same thing with every race.
Yeah.
You choose to be good or evil.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
so,
and like
we don't necessarily have dragon corruption innate in our brains, like for humans. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see, if that's taken to that next level. If they truly are like dragon minions, it's going to be really interesting.
Well, that's the thing that I like about the Char is that they're they were like originally meant to be the kind of ArenaNet version of orcs, but and they certainly played out that way in Guild Wars 1, but in Guild Wars 2, you have a chance to become the hero, like a Char hero, and I really like that, even though they do have really brutal militaristic kind of douchebag tendencies in their culture, but they can also be really good. They can be really decent, caring, altruistic characters. Like, I mean, the female Char who founded the Vigil is, of course, a Char, and that's the Vigil is there for the entire planet, not just the Char.
Right.
She's, and like, I really like it that we have that representation that she isn't some like snidely whiplash like, yeah, I will feast upon all human flesh. She's like a, fully dignified being that can be just as righteous and noble as anyone else. And of course, because they're Char, they look really badass, and I think that's really cool. And I kind of love the idea of, like, I can understand how some Sylvari lovers would like freak out if they find out, oh no, we're dragon minions, but it's like, yeah, but that's the cool thing, because it means that if you want to be the way that they've been represented to us as these nature-loving elven good guys, you can still be that. It just means that you've got more depth, because you're actually meant to be something a lot worse than that.
Right.
And for you to rebel against your inner nature, which is a really bad inner nature, I think that's a really compelling narrative. The whole Hellboy thing, again, is a really fun thing to go down. So I think that's really cool. And
it is.
I think your topic is really cool. Is that something's going on? I think it's been intentional that Arena hasn't put Sylvari in the little group of band of sisters that we have.
Unless your character, unless you're playing a Sylvari as a player character, then because you're kind of in with them too. That's another question I kind of had, is how well the living story involves the player character. I know that people were very, very happy with the finale because we got to finish finish Scarlet. We were the one who finished Scarlet, even though we had help from Destiny's Edge 2.0. We were the one. So, and even when you come into the bar, they go, oh, here's the hero. And they go, yay, celebrate the hero,
Yeah.
So that kind of helps to get the player as themselves involved. So we are kind of, as a player character, kind of a part of their little group. If you're playing a Sylvari, that kind of puts you in there as a Sylvari. So.
Well, it's like it's like saying like how how my character being like a Char adds like another Char to the group too.
Right.
Whereas like I think like what we've been talking about is just the whole like the little NPC band of groupings.
Yeah.
The fact that a Sylvari isn't represented in that,
right,
no matter what our character is is kind of telling. That and I think it is telling actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really intrigued to see where they might go. I'm just so excited and happy that Modramoth is the
I
is the
know.
dragon. I can't wait for the
I
stuff they
know.
can
I'm
do.
so excited to see what's gonna come of that.
I can't wait to just like see what he actually looks like. I mean, I'm really.
Yeah,
It's like like it's like gotten my own imagination for like the fantasy writing that I like to do to try to. It's like there's always the temptation whenever you're creating like the nature-based race to make them like like kind of hippie-ish, to make them all like,
mm,
yes, maintain the balance of nature and we are the good and ones who fight for nature. Nature is ancient
mm-hmm.
and primordial, and but it's kind of cool to kind of make like a thing or a group or whatever that is nature-based to be actually quite bad. And because of course nature can be quite horrifically devastating, as we've seen with like well, just one example, like massive, like giant tsunamis for instance,
Mm-hmm.
can if like one
Nature's
hits the
very
eastern.
destructive.
Yeah, because like a if like a massive tsunami, which could happen at any moment, because there's like if a piece of like a side of the mountain falls into the ocean on the European side, which this area, I forget where, it's very volatile and it could fall off. If that piece falls off, it'll send a tsunami that will hit the entire eastern seaboard of North America, and if that happens, it'll like wipe out everything there, and it could mess up the entire planet.
Yeah.
And like that's like an example of it's like fluffy bunnies and pretty flowers and like pristine air, but it's also tsunamis that can destroy you. It's piranhas. It's lions ripping to pieces little babies.
Yeah.
It's also quite deadly. So I'm really. It just jogs my juices for this idea of like an evil nature-based thing. That's kind of cool. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
Really excited about that. Do you want to move on to the other?
I do want to move on. You had an interesting. You wanted to do like the best and the worst things about season
Right,
one. We
right.
can kind of do a review of the entire season,
Yes.
and we could go on forever with just our general review. So we're going to do our personal
Yeah.
favorite and least favorite parts about season one.
Well, ladies first, my dear. Go on.
Oh, thank you. Well, I didn't think about this too much because I just have my favorite release, my favorite.
You just love everything.
I just love everything for one because it's Guild Wars 2 and I'm a hopeless fangirl. But not necessarily the best part of it overall, but the best release I have to say, of course, was the Bazaar of the Four Winds. This is not. This is taking it in another direction, but I just have to express my love for that one release for the Zephyr Sanctum, and I hope it comes back again. It has to come back again. Anyway,
Well, when did it come out, by the way?
it's I actually have the page
it was
open
summer,
right
wasn't
here.
it?
That was, I believe, it was summer. It was in July.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So.
I'm pretty dang sure
My,
we'll
we're
see them.
getting we're a couple months away from July, so we'll see if that comes back.
Well, hopefully season 2 will like be up and running well before July, because
Yeah,
I want
yeah.
Zephyr Sanctum
They
back for
haven't,
sure.
as far as I know, they haven't announced at all when season 2 is going to start. But it can't be too long because that would go against everything they've ever. That's what the living story is, and it is its constant updates, constant new content to keep people engaged. So if they just go on like a break for a couple months, that kind of goes against everything that they're trying to do.
Yeah.
I know it's in between seasons, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't think it's going to take that long for stuff to come
I don't
back.
either.
Unless they do something like for example, Dragon Bash was in June. So if they do
Yeah.
another Dragon Bash in June, then maybe that could like kick off, the new like.
It's an interesting idea.
Because these festivals like Dragon Bash and the Bazaar, I wouldn't call that a festival, but that's like an event that could possibly be reoccurring every year.
Dragon
is
Bash for sure. Yeah, like I mean,
oh yeah, because I mean that's a full blown festival, which I love. Those are my favorites. My favorites are the little festivals and fun things.
me too.
Winter's Day, Halloween, Dragon Bash, which is that kind of is reminiscent of in Guild Wars 1. They had the Dragon Festival. Now, granted, that was a Cantha thing, so
Yeah.
Dragon Bash kind of turns that into a Tyria thing. But yeah, I hope that comes back. So we'll have to see when season 2 is going to start. But I got off track. I think the best part of season 1 was the fact that I know they were just starting out, so I think season 2 is going to be a lot more polished. But season
Oh
1,
yeah.
I think they had a really good mix of fun stuff like festivals and serious stuff like world bosses and like stuff in South Sun like Karka attacks and stuff that we really had to like as a player base, like this is a threat that we have to take care of, or this is the threat of Scarlet we have to this is something we got to pay attention to and defeat her. We got to take down the Tower of Nightmares. Like that was a very serious thing that we had to do. But there was also fun festivals and stuff. So it was a good
Yeah.
variety of what kind of content people like to play. So I thought that was very good. What do you consider your favorite part of season 1?
Well, well, the the negative ones first. I'd say would just
Hmm.
be the beginning parts with like when they were experimenting with things. I didn't much care for that, like the stuff leading to the Flame and Frost thing, because they were finding their toes, of course, but I definitely
Mm-hmm.
didn't like that one. And once they got into the cadence of the 2 week thing, that's when things got really good. And I really love this 2 week cadence thing. It's been amazing that they've been able to do that, and it's just
Yeah.
been really cool. They've been able to sustain it.
Yeah.
And like it really is amazing that they are sustaining this. Like they really do sound like they really are in this total like the machine is now working for them to
Right.
turn out 2 week stuff and to take 2 week breaks every now and then for when I need to take a break, which is perfectly fine. And but yeah, as far as throughout the season 1, um, I mean like the last ones that we've just had have been really awesome. Um, but I think we can kind of all agree that the last 4 ones have been really fun and impressive. But
Mm-hmm.
the two, I've got a tie for the two favorite bits from season 1, which would have to be, I really like what they did with Halloween, because again, that's my goth side coming out, and I'm a big fan of the fall and spring. I don't like summer and winter. Don't like summer. Don't like winter. But I like fall and spring. Um, that's why I want to live in Britain for the rest of my life, nice and gray and rainy forever. But yeah, I liked how they were able to extend the lore for the Halloween event, and
Right,
I
yeah.
just really like
They
the way that,
actually added lore for Halloween. I thought that was very interesting. Yeah, I give
and
them a lot of credit for that.
it was a very realistic way too, because nobles and princes and kings and stuff do sometimes do that, try to write people out of history. Like that's totally reasonable to expect that from a kingdom. If you don't like your son or ancestor, you could easily write them out of history and nobody would know.
Wow.
It's very easy. And just like the humor that they put in that and the fun of it, like the actual gameplay was a lot of fun. I actually got into PvP for that, which was amazing because I
Nice,
never
wow.
PvP. But for that, I found that fun. I found like the whole game of the PvP thing that fun. And I also like the story aspects to it, and I love these little soloable instances that come with them. So for me, the Tower of Nightmare sequencing I thought was a lot of fun. Um, I really like the way that they executed it, with it slowly coming out, kind of like, oh, what's this like misty thing in the middle of the thing?
Yeah.
And then finally the tower is revealed, and then the whole zone is totally changed. And then when it comes down, the zone is changed again, and you have this fun, cool little story instance. And the thing that I love about that story instance in uh, the Fall of the Tower of Nightmare is that it shows, because this game doesn't rely on the holy trinity of gameplay, having tank healer and DPS so much. Um, excuse me. Some people may complain that there's not a lot of variety to the actual fighting in dungeons, because it's just like a DPS race, as they call it. But what I love about this is that instance was able to show what you can do by not just focusing on that, because there was that really cool puzzle element to it, which incorporated all three of Scarlet's alliances, and you got to unlock each puzzle. And there was also like fighting involved in that, but only if you got it wrong. And you really had to use your head, and then there actually was an actual kind of battle fight thing, and then there was a ton of voice acting and a ton of story, and just that is what I love in this game. That kind of story instance in the living story, advancing the story, that is what I love the most in this game, is that kind of thing.
Nice.
So, and that definitely has been my favorite. So as long as Arena can bring out more of those. And the other thing I would critique is that I really want them to, for the major patches, maybe not for everyone, maybe not even every month, but to have a lot more where when you sign into the game, when the patch comes on, to have some kind of cinematic. It doesn't have to be like the most incredible looking one, but even if it just has like in-game graphics, just some way to introduce the patch with a cinematic on the day that it comes in. I think that would really make this a polished entity if they could do that for each patch, so that you don't have to go to the website to go looking through it all. You just tune in and suddenly, oh, this thing happens. And you go, oh, okay. And then you get a letter in the mail, so that you get the cinematic. Oh, what's this? And
they did that more and more here the last couple patches. They did that. So, yeah, if they keep that up, that'd be cool.
Yeah, so that's my hopes for it, yeah. Best and good. And, you know what'd be really cool is if Mordramoth crashed Dragon Bash. That'd be really cool. So for them to like kick it off around...
That would like be great.
For them to like, I'm hoping and betting that season 2 starts in May sometime, and so that can set us up for Dragon Bash coming up. So we could have like a couple patches just introducing the story and stuff, and then lead up to everyone like organizing Dragon Bash somewhere, maybe in Lion's Arch, and then all of a sudden like that's when like Mordramoth's minions come, or Mordramoth's champion comes, and it's like, Rawr! And then they can even say like Dragon Bash gets crashed, or it should be awesome. Arena, take this. That's my hope there.
Crashing Dragon Bash, nice.
Do you want to talk about the? Sorry, do you want to?
I was going to move ahead to your opinion on all the new hairstyles.
Oh yes.
Unless you have more notes on the living story.
No.
So I was gonna.
Yeah, the hairstyles. I
don't know if you've seen any other than Char.
I know, yeah. I actually just watched your handy video actually on the hairstyles.
Oh, thank you.
So that way I didn't have to actually buy it.
Right.
Because you've got the selection for all of the hairstyles on there. So that was kind of nice to cycle through. There is one cool Char for males. I do have enough gems to buy it, but I don't know if I really want to. I'm kind of like wanting to save that few gems I have for possibly something that comes up that I really like maybe like a new set of colors of some kind. So I'm really antsy to not. I've been lately since December. I've been buying way too many gems. It's like prior to that, I never bought anything from this game, but with the new faces that they brought out in December for Winter's Day, because there's that one awesome Char face that looks like a lion that I've been like putting on all of my characters. So I've like always been buying the total makeover one and getting suckered into buying them.
They've got to be making so much bank on those kits, the hairstyle change kits and the total makeover kits, because they're not that I don't think they're that expensive. I think they're pretty cheap for what they do. Not like if you want to change your name, it's like $10. But these are like what, $3-4? It's really not that much.
Yeah,
If you want to
it's not that
change the
pricey.
whole look of your character, I think that's an amazing price, and it just makes people want to change their look even more. I mean, I think I've changed. I barely even play my Asura, and I've changed my Asura's look like 3 times. Because
Yeah.
the first time I just didn't like how I made her, so I changed her, and then the new hairstyles came out, so I changed her again to a new hairstyle. And there's that first new Asura
Done that.
hairstyle I absolutely love, so I'm very tempted to change her again.
Yeah, and like because it's so easy to spend money that way, and I'm sure there's people that are a lot worse than either of us on
Oh yes,
spending gems.
yes.
This is why I'm so shocked that all these AAA MMO titles that are coming out or that are existing, like WoW and whatnot, I don't know how they can all hang on to this bloody subscription fees on top of having they all have in-game stores as well, and it's like they must make tons of money out of this stuff, and yeah, I just because it just seems like such a great system. It's like you buy the game, and then you have it forever, and then you have the cash shop that you can get
Yep.
for aesthetic stuff.
However,
And it's like,
however much you can support the game, if you don't have a lot of disposable income, you can spend, I forget what the lowest amount you can buy on gems. I want to say $10. For 800 gems
that is, yeah,
is the lowest. So you can throw $10 every couple months or every time something comes out that you really want, and it's all cosmetic. There's no pay to win.
yeah.
Or if you have a lot of disposable income, you can throw a lot of money at the game. Then it's
Yeah.
your choice. You're not forced, to pay any. It's just great. It's just a great system.
I just like keep on thinking that there's this conspiracy theory about people are afraid to mention Guild Wars 2 in conversations and stuff. 'Cause it's like, in like I just love MMORPGs, period, and I'm thinking about possibly playing like a third one because I do this, and I love Guild Wars 2 and I also love my WoW, but I'm thinking of possibly getting another one just because I just love MMOs. They're fun.
Yeah.
But watching and listening to all these other podcasts and stuff and reviews and articles and stuff, it's like so many don't mention Guild Wars too much, or many people don't seem to be aware of it, or they'll be like, "Oh, but pay like free to play is like so bad because you have to buy everything or it's gated."
I do
It's
not understand that.
don't
No, you know what's
I don't
bad
even know what those games are, but Guild Wars 2 ain't bad. So yeah, sorry.
Right. What's bad is I've been playing Star Wars online, Old Republic.
SWTOR, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I've been playing that with a friend lately, and it started out as a subscription, but now you can play it for free. There's different levels. You can still pay a subscription and unlock everything in the game. You can play for completely free, and there's a bunch of stuff that's like locked,
Locked
and
away.
there's these little like yellow subscription only or cartel coins as they call them, like pay $3 to unlock this, pay $3. It's kind of like a cash shop that's all over the game, but you're constantly bombarded with this little if you're not a subscriber, you're constantly bombarded with this little yellow icon. You could complete a quest, and you get your list of rewards from the quest. There's rewards that are blocked out. It'll say pay, $2 to get this reward from your quest. I'm like, really? It's like you're constantly reminded that, that you're not a subscriber, even though it's a free to play game, and that doesn't make make it any fun. It's like I'm constantly reminded that, oh, you're not good enough. You're not. That's what I feel. It's like, oh, you're not a subscriber. You stay over here and don't get all the loot and don't get all the experience. I don't know. It's just Guild Wars 2 is so perfect, and it's,
It does, yeah. 'Cause like like I've like heard
makes you
about
feel
how
welcome.
bad. Yeah, it does. I've like heard about how bad the SWTOR thing is, and I've never jumped into
wouldn't
it.
call it bad. It's just annoying to constantly see that.
I think it's pretty bad. I mean, there's been like lots of people that have gone in depth to how that system works, and it's like, yeah, that's. I mean, I never liked the look of it, or was that much of a Star Wars fan to begin with. So, but
Same.
I mean, like
I'm not crazy about it.
Yeah, like the way that they've handled that. I'm interested in the WildStar way of doing it because they're doing this like cred system where you can buy
You
these
can
little things.
earn your subscription basically.
Yeah, with like in-game
In-game
gold.
gold, yeah.
Um, so, but the nice thing about that is that when you do buy the little things for that, when you like buy the little thing with your in-game gold, it makes you exactly what like a subscription payer will be. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like none of the stuff that you're talking about with the SWTOR stuff. So
That's nice.
and so I think that's kind of cool. That
Yeah.
system sounds like it'll work off better. And if they ever choose to be completely free to play that way, then it'll be an easy transition. But
Right.
and I don't mind them doing it so much because Carbine is a very new studio. They don't have the same kind of financial resources that even like Arena has because there's already been Guild Wars 1 and
Right.
whatnot. So they're bringing a total new product into the world. So that I don't mind. Whereas like the Elder Scrolls Online thing is totally unreasonable to be sub-based. But this is we've gone into debating about other MMOs. My fault. I don't have to think. I like talking that junk, but yes, it basically just means that Guild Wars 2 is absolutely delightful. The way that it does things, and everyone seems to ignore us. I don't know why.
Cheerleaders right here.
It's like that they're ignoring us because like
Oh.
one tiny more little rant on this, just that SWTOR is trying to promote this new race they have. Okay, this new race, the body is exactly like the human body model, which every race in that game, all playable races, they all look the same. They all have the
Yeah.
exact same human model. The cat race, oh my god.
Yeah, we know how you feel about that.
Oh, that is not that is like on par with the Final Fantasy Online game cat race. Oh, Gridlock would just rip their faces off. Just that is not a cat race. That is not a cat race. Whereas we get a real cat race for free, baby. So yeah, I've got this like Skeletor looking like elementalist who's like got like a lion face and a cool black hood. I love him. So yeah, that's my ranting on that. Just had to get that out. Did you want to move on to the
Let's
news of
move
the
on
traits?
to absolutely the news that just this morning came out about the feature patch. They're going to start releasing over the next couple weeks, like every day or every couple days. They're going to release more in-depth information about another part of the feature patch, which is coming April 15th. Is going to be this big feature patch where we get all this stuff. And the first thing they have revealed is that they are, I don't want to say completely redoing, but they're making a lot of improvements to the trait system. And some pretty noticeable things, such as, I think the thing that I'm most excited about is, well, two things. Is one, that you don't have to buy those books anymore to unlock
Yes.
like Adept
Yes.
and up to Grandmaster. You don't have to buy those anymore, which is wonderful for those of us who have a million alts. It's wonderful that we don't have to waste gold on that anymore. Personally, I have 10 characters, and I don't even worry about their traits for like quite a while because it's just I can't keep up with them all.
Yeah.
The next thing that I really like is that we're going to get the chance to redo our traits at any time. Just like in PvP, they have the little button that just says reset all traits. PvEers are going to get that as well. We don't have to go
awesome.
back to a trainer. We don't have to, pay. I don't think it's a lot. I think it's like a couple silver. But you don't have to go back to a trainer every time you want to reset your traits. Now, what this does is amazing to me because it encourages build experimentation. You can just redo it at any time, run into a battle. If that didn't work for you, run out of battle, redo your traits, and run back in right there. You don't have to go back to a trainer, pace over, rework everything. I think that's amazing because personally, I don't pay too much attention to traits, honestly, because I don't want to run back to a trainer every time. Now, if I can just do it whenever I want, if I want to, start using a new weapon, I'm going to use it for a while to see if I like it. Like my ranger, I was always using short bow and greatsword, and I wanted to start using longbow. I started using longbow, and I loved it. So, but by the time I was using it for a while, I completely forgot about my traits. You know, some of my traits were set up for greatsword. I wasn't using the greatsword anymore. So it was like there's probably so much more potential for damage and just what I can do with a longbow, but I had like forgot about it because I'm always out in the world doing stuff. I don't want to go back to a trainer and worry about that, so I just don't. And that probably, a lot of you are probably cringing right now. That probably makes me a really bad player. But I'm sorry, I just didn't like doing that. So, this eliminates that. Now I can just out in the field, I can say, okay, I want to switch back to greatsword, so I can go redo my traits, get damage, and on my greatsword. And I'm so happy about just that one change alone makes me so happy.
Yeah, they've been really redefining, slimming down, and cutting out the chaff, I guess you could say.
Yes, exactly.
With the new traits. And I also want to mention just quickly, I've discovered the joy of rangers. I've kind of held them off a bit, but I really love nature magic, and this is like the closest we have to kind of a druidic type nature magic kind of classy that we have. Elementalists technically are, but it's not officially called nature magic. It's the whole elemental thing. So I like there's much more of a druidic feel to the ranger type thing. So I like that. But I just love being able to use a greatsword and with a pet, and I love the attacks for rangers with their greatswords. It's my favorite greatsword attacks, like having like a giant bear go, "Rrr!" And the eagle thing, when like the eagle charge you could do. Has so much fun. I just love.
Great sword is probably the best weapon in the game. I think every class that's able to use a great sword, their great sword skills are just amazing.
Especially like mesmer great swords. Oh, I love mesmer great sword attacks. Like having a giant sword and blasting an energy blast out of it. It's just pure.
It's so unique. Of all classes that could use great swords, a mesmer. But then once you use it, you're like, wow, this is cool.
Every caster needs to have it. It's like
ranged greatsword attack. What?
It's like like He-Man is what it is. Like when he zaps like Cringer. it's like ah. Of course I quickly like to make Char Mesmer's called Panther, which is like what Skeletor's cat is named. But, and I try to make him look as purple as possible. They've done a lot of big things are coming with this big change. They've slimmed it down. They're making the points worth more.
Right.
So that like
they're
one
not
point will be worth like 5.
Right. I think that's
so it's like really
super condensed. Yeah, I love that. You can't, go between. It's like if you know anything about how the traits work, you have to go in 5s. So what's the point in having 5 steps?
Yeah, because it makes your decisions each time you want to use a trait more worthwhile. We're getting 40 new trait abilities essentially with this, which is amazing. So every one of our traits for every class, every trait tree, there's a new Grand Master for each of them.
Yeah. Which
is amazing. That is freaking amazing. There's like one for like water for elementalists that makes them like one of the strongest healers now. In the
That's
game.
Interesting.
And then for like for rangers, the longbow will make you shoot your arrows out like twice as fast.
Yeah. That's
like,
cool.
Like and by doing the whole like making each point worth more power that way, it's gonna feel much better. It's gonna feel similar to what they were doing in the WoW thing by trimming and slim as far as they've gone in WoW. But this is definitely a step. This is definitely since this is only part of the features patch, this is a lot of stuff we're getting. And when Arena said that they wanted to make the living story equal to like a one expansion, well, if you combine everything they've been through and gone through with the living story, and then with what we're getting here, this is like expansion level quality stuff, like with the trait revamp thing.
Yeah, this is a major change, and this is just one part of the feature patch.
Just the beginning, yeah. It's like,
just the beginning. We have clues to what the rest are, and we're gonna quickly comment on those. But one other major change to the traits that I think people will have the biggest gripe about, but they shouldn't, is that your major traits, the ones that you choose from the drop-down menu, those are going to have to be unlocked now,
right,
by doing going out and exploring the world. And you do have the option of just going to the trainer and buying them, though, which is very nice for people who really don't want to go like explore. And they said you'll have to do like dungeons and fractals and different quests around the world in order to unlock all of your major traits, except the ones that you already have. Like if you like whatever your current build is, when this is implemented, you'll already have those ones unlocked, like automatically, because they're not gonna suddenly take away your build that you currently have and say, oh, now you have to go find them. No, those ones are already going to be unlocked, so that's nice. So that kind of
I was iffy on that part, just because it kind of seemed it's going against what they've been doing, what they're doing with this. To like suddenly have like, oh, but now you can buy them if you want. It's like, or you can go out and do these things that I don't necessarily want to do for getting those things. So I was a little uncomfortable with that. But at least you can buy them if you can't do
it's a little strange. I like the idea. It's a little strange to implement this 2 years into the game's life. To suddenly take all your traits away. See, what I would think is like, if you're already level 80 and you've already had access to all the skills, then you should just still have access to them. If you're already level 80, you've been playing this level 80 for 2 years, just leave them all unlocked. That's what I think. I don't think the level 80s should have to go then and find their traits, that go learn a skill that you've known all your life, and now you have to go unlock it. That's a little strange, but as far as like a new character and having the traits be unlocked, I like that a lot, because it's very, very reminiscent of Guild Wars 1. Because all your skills, there were skills that you could just buy. Like you could just go, and when you had enough money or skill points, I forget exactly how it worked. I think it was skill points actually. You could just go down the list and unlock as long as you had enough skill points. But there's others, including the elites, you can't buy. You have to go out and kill the boss that has that elite, and then you have to have a capture skill, a capture elite skill, and go and capture that skill, that elite skill from that boss, if that makes any sense. That was how you got elite skills in the first game, not including Eye of the North. I think that was different. Though I think that you got the new skills through quests. When you completed a quest, you would get a new skill. And that was a racial skill. You would get an Asura skill, or a Norn skill, or a human skill, or a Dwarven skill. But before that, ever since the game first launched, the elite skills you had to go capture from a boss. So this is very reminiscent of that, and that's what I like about it. I do think that implementing this late in the game's life cycle is going to make people a little mad. But it doesn't make me mad. I'm fine with it. Just make sure that you have your build that you currently want to use already on your character, which you should anyway, before the patch goes over. And again, they're telling us this weeks in advance so we can prepare for this. We can prepare for what skills we want to be unlocked. And again, if you don't want to go explore or go on these quests or do dungeons in order to unlock the skill, you can just go and buy them. And that perfectly offsets the price for buying those books. I think.
And
except for level 80. It kind of screws level 80. Like, oh, all of a sudden you have to go buy all your traits again, but overall, I like it.
Yeah, like it doesn't seem like, I mean, like, it's weird, but it doesn't seem the worst thing in the world, just because I like the idea of any kind of trimming of the fat. which I definitely think they need to do.
Yeah.
I don't like the whole like having like 70 plus points you're just arbitrarily putting all over the little place. Like having like 5 points in like one whole tree is kind of useless because like it's just like a tiny little ability thing. It's like like make every trait point I put in have more significance. So, but being the internet, there will be plenty of whiny little babies that will
Of course
probably
there will.
scream and complain
Yeah.
and be like, "Will you please grow up, you 80-year-old, 13-year-old mindset person?" But you know, being the internet, although of course Guild Wars 2 does have a pretty decent community, I gotta say overall. Like,
It does have a good community. Yeah, when you just gotta ignore the trolls. But that goes for anything on the internet, I guess.
Yeah, oh yeah. There's still a lot of people that whine and moan and complain and everything.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to one person, one of my first things to talk with my thing, and this one guy was like a major like these like he was a total nice guy and everything in his defense, but some of them can be really bad, and he's one of these old school WoW players who was like playing like, oh yeah, I played since vanilla and I now play on a private WoW vanilla server, and it's like vanilla WoW sucked balls. It's like I don't need to go into it here, and I certainly won't, but there's plenty of reasons it was crap. It's advanced wonderfully now compared to what it was, but there's still people that say like, oh, it was better when like the only way you could do anything was just kill mobs nonstop. It's like that's all you did. Like it's like congratulations, level cap, now go kill mobs. Yay. Yeah, so it's like those kind of people that'll be like, oh, you know, rose tinted glasses type, but that's my slightly bitter rant there when people complain about all these things. But yes, yeah, it's this is really cool. This trait revamp thing. I'm really looking forward to it. Did you notice the little screenshot of like how it's gonna look? It's they showed a little.
It was similar,
shot.
but there was a like a list on the side of like what major traits you have. So that was like a visual representation. It looked like to me of like you have this and this and this and this of the major traits that you choose. So that was really nice if that's actually what that was. Otherwise, it kind of looked the same.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like pretty similar. Like it looks and sounds a very wise thing to do because they're not doing a huge revamp of it that'll make it completely different, because that can really tick off players who may love that whole like ton of point system. So to completely change it and make it something totally different would totally make people angry. Whereas this is just literally just a thinning of the chaff, and it's cleaned up a lot. Like the actual horizontal trees look a lot cleaner. And I also noticed that hopefully this will be implemented and continue into it, is that the little icons have like the symbol of your class on it. So like for like rangers, it's got like a little bear paw on your little icon, which is really cute and cool. I like that. So it just added a lot of flavor for me. I thought it was kind of cool. And
I'm excited for it.
And and they gave us a little tasting of like every class, a little sampling of every ability. So
they gave us one Grandmaster trait of for every class. Yeah. I was really excited about the Guardian, because I have my Guardian set up for like defense and support, and the first one they revealed was a support one. It was basically like give everyone 100 vitality or 300 vitality or something for a total of like 3,000 or something, something like that.
I think it was specific to the Guardian itself. It's like you can like increase your own vitality like a gigantic degree like that, which is really impressive.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive because it like makes you a lot more tanky, because that was the thing was to give you the ability to do that. And that's really cool because even though this doesn't have a holy trinity, it's still like for that ability they're making that one thing makes Guardians way more tanky, and a really cool ability, because I'm sure plenty of tanks would like want something to suddenly boost up their hit points that way. And then elementalists have a super duper water healing spell, which is going to make them one of the best healer types, and so that's really cool. Just yeah, it's really cool. I'm really excited for this, and the fact that like you said, like there was like at least 3 or 4 other different features that they've only kind of hinted at, right?
Oh, there's a ton of features that they've hinted at. Every couple days they're going to be releasing detailed information. I think, as I've already said this, about all the new features in the patch. Like I said, this trait system is just one of many. Real quick, let's kind of try and guess what these could be. On March 21st, on March 21st, they're going to, which is tomorrow. They're going to talk about 2 things. One of them is just called critical, which I believe is going to be the introduction of the ferocity system, which is going to replace the critical hit chance. They've already talked about this that they were going to be doing this. Was they're going to replace your critical hit chance with a system called ferocity, and I don't remember at the moment exactly how it's going to work, but it's a replacement for it, and it changes up the numbers, and
sounds fun.
Yeah, so that's probably what that is. The other one is called the Art of Combat. There's a lot of things that could mean.
The Art of Combat. Wow.
Now that because the word art is in there, I'm guessing something about how combat looks. Now that could be weapons, that could be skill effects.
That would be awesome. That would be so wicked because I mean, like, if they can't implement like actual new weapon abilities for all the weapons, if they simply went through all of them and tweaked them and gave them different effects or improved the effects, that would be just as awesome. That would be so wicked if they could do that. But I think you're right. I mean, that does sound like a possibility. That's something with the look of the combat is going to be changed in some way, which would be really fun.
Of course, in all of these, I am looking for any hints about precursor crafting, precursor scavenging hunt. So there's a slight possibility the Art of Combat could mean something with legendaries or precursors. I don't know. That's wishful thinking, I think. But we'll find out tomorrow what that means.
Anything that involves art asset type stuff or new kind of art stuff, I am so
that's for sure. Everything they do in that department is wonderful. On March 24th, right before my birthday, it's going to be now this is one everybody's getting excited about. Hold on to your butts. A new way to explore the looks of Guild Wars 2. Wardrobe?
I'm hanging on my butt.
Wardrobe? Maybe?
Okay, I'll
wardrobe
stop
feature?
hanging on my ass.
I get it. A new way to explore the looks of Guild Wars 2. We're all hoping that means some kind of wardrobe.
A new way to explore the looks of Guild Wars 2.
There was...
wow, that could be so many things. He said it's coming out on the 24th, that one, right?
Yeah.
Man.
And that's also on the same day, a colorful outlook. Dye system redo, perhaps?
Yeah, I really hope so, because I am such a dye.
I don't know what else that could mean besides dye system.
I want all dyes to be available to all your characters.
Account-wide dyes would be. I mean, I don't think they.
So awesome.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I don't know what to think. It's like they could do that, but at the same time, I don't know. I see that as one of those.
Why not though?
Oh no, I know. That's that would be awesome.
Because there's like a bunch of characters that have colors only on that character that I don't want to have to buy or have to bloody well, just hope that it's going to appear on something else. It's like they've got like the colors I want on this character,
right.
And
there's enough. Excuse me. There's enough dyes in the game, and they keep adding more, that even if they make dies account wide, you could still be collecting them forever. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
know?
mean, like this is one of my favorite features of Guild Wars 2 is I love their die system. Like, just like the fact that you don't have to go to any kind of vendor for it.
Hmm.
You can just do it on the fly. I color changed my outfit so many times. It's just so much
It's just
fun.
so fun, and it's such an easy thing to
Ah,
dynamically change the look of your character without having to like redo your armor. You just redo the color, and it's
yeah,
unlocked already. It's such a great system.
it's
Uh,
just so much fun because it's just like your character can look so different with the
yeah.
different colors. They look so pretty, some of them, and beautiful, and it's like you just turn into a fashionista, and it's just like, oh, more colors. Ooh, it's like, it's like, oh, I want that blue, I want that blue, or like, I need that white. Oh, ooh, pastel pink, yes, yes. And like, uh,
What do you think
uh,
about the possibility of a wardrobe feature that it's basically
so
unlocking armors sets, basically. If you want,
what exactly would be this wardrobe feature thing? I've like heard comments about it, but I've never
right,
really
it
investigated.
would be
So
so right
what
now.
exactly would be wardrobe?
Right now in the game, when you want to change your look, you have to buy a new armor set, and then if you want to keep your same runes and everything, you would have to replace that armor set, and then it's like if you want the original armor set again, you have to go buy it again, or something like. It's the whole transmutation stone system, basically.
Okay.
So if there was a wardrobe, it would be like in PvP. Basically has a wardrobe system. You unlock skins in PvP, and then pretty much at any time you can
Okay.
go. It's to my understanding. I'm not a PvPer, but you can go at any time and put a new look on your character. You can just choose from the armors that you've unlocked, because you always have the same
So
stats. You can have whatever
okay.
stats you want in PvP. So you
So it's
just
kind of like it's kind of like having like a special place to have all of your skins that never go away.
right.
That you can keep on using like the
Right.
same skin
Once
over
you've
and over again.
unlocked a
Okay,
skin,
okay,
it
I
goes
got
in
it.
here, and at any time you can go and just take out that skin. I would
That would
assume
be
if you
brilliant.
buy one from the gem store,
Yep.
then it would be in there for whatever character wants to go in there and grab it and use it. I know a lot of people
Okay.
that have said if
Yeah,
they could do that,
that would
if
be
they could buy
fantastic.
an armor set from the gem store and it's unlocked, like they always have it to put on any of their characters, they're like, I would buy every single skin that they put out
Yeah,
just to have it in
that
my
that
collection.
sounds
Just how you collect mini pets or whatever, you could collect armor sets.
that sounds
Who wouldn't want
fantastic.
to do that? And then just like
Yeah,
your
it's
dies,
fantastic.
at any time you can go and change the look of your armor. Now I've heard I actually saw that there was some data mining done, and normally I don't look at data mining, but I looked at this
Right.
one, and there was the word wardrobe
Ooh.
said a couple times in there, so that is a very big possibility that that's what this is. They still, however, they would still want to keep some kind of a transmutation stone system because they do make money selling transmutation stones. So instead of the actual stones, it could be like a point system. Like, oh, you have 10 points on your wardrobe account. In your wardrobe, you have this many number of times to change. And then you can buy more changes in the gem store or something like that. So I don't think that just because there would be a wardrobe, I don't think they're going to do away with the transmutation stone system as far as you're having to, sadly, having to pay to change your level 80's look. But you would always have armor sets unlocked. I don't know if that makes any sense the way I said it, but
Oh yeah, for sure.
anyway,
It totally does. Sounds
yeah,
fantastic.
it's a really good system. Even if you still have to pay a little bit of money to change your level 80's look, it's still an excellent system. Like I said, I think in the end they would make more money from people buying all the gem store armors in order to keep their set complete, their wardrobe complete. I think they would do very well because people would buy the gem store armors a lot more if it wasn't just one use on a character. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely sounds awesome.
Same with dyes.
Um,
If they made dyes account bound, I think people would be more apt to buy the gem store dyes sets that they put out.
oh yeah,
You
yeah. I
know?
mean, yeah. This totally sounds like an awesome idea to do that because
Mm-hmm.
there's so many there's just so many outfits you can do in Guild Wars 2,
Yeah.
and so many colors that you can do with it too. They totally need to do a revamp and make that one of its best selling features. Because if
Mm-hmm.
you tell people you have this, I mean that's incredible. Like I mean,
Yeah.
like WoW still doesn't have the ability to change your gear's color. Like some people apparently think that would be like crazy or weird, and I'm like playing Guild Wars 2 going like, what? This is so easy to do, baby. What are you talking about? What are you doing? I turn my char into another pink demon of death. And then yeah, like because like, and even newer games still don't have quite that kind of advanced
That
wardrobe
much freedom.
and coloring sense to it. Yeah, because and it's so much fun to do that
Mm-hmm.
to have to not need to go to a vendor to change your color, but to also the wardrobe feature you're talking about is brilliant. To have a separate tab for that you can just like click
Exactly.
onto and it to open up. And
Mm-hmm.
even Biscuit agrees with me there. So like it's a great idea doing that.
He loves it.
He just loves his pink tutu and
Pink
the way
chihuahuas for everyone. Biscuit, come here. You hush.
come join the cast. Come
Come
on.
join. Mascot.
I just love I just love the way he only licks that one part of your lip. It's
He
so
does. He
bizarre.
does. He likes to lick right under my nose. That's it. That's the only place he'll lick on me. It's retarded.
It's just like this is like a tag. It's like Jaws. This little like, furry dog will comes right onto your nose.
My boogers are tasty,
It's like,
apparently. Okay, let's move on. March 26th is looking for group. Question mark, actually.
yeah.
Looking for group? They've already implemented the looking for group tool, so maybe they're refining it even more. I mean, I don't use it very often, but that's because I don't do a lot of dungeons or fractals or specifically
Yeah.
group content. But maybe they're improving it even more.
I find it kind of confusing whenever I've tried using the looking for group tool. I don't know. I just find it kind of confusing as far as what exactly they're supposed to be doing in it. So if they could, again, like trim the chaff and make that more effective, that would definitely be good.
Hmm.
So yeah, I can't think of much more what they'd be doing there.
Yeah, I can't even think of. I think it's very good. I can't think of a way to improve it, but maybe they've thought of another way, and that's great. Or is it technically like it was in beta for a while? Technically, like it wasn't working for everyone. Maybe they technically never brought it out of beta, and now they're officially. I don't know. I'm just thinking.
That's an idea. Yeah, because
Maybe
I
they've
think
just
that's
maybe they've streamlined it, or through people using
yeah.
it, maybe they've just refined it. Kind of like, maybe we don't need this category, or maybe we need a category for
Yeah.
this. That could be something like that.
Well, because like I've like always it always looked like, or I swear it like said that it was in beta for the longest time.
Yeah, same. It
So, like,
did for a
maybe
while. But I don't know if they ever actually took it out of beta.
yeah, like maybe it has been in essentially kind of beta since, and now
Testing.
and now like this will be not only will it be live, but it'll have improvements,
Yeah,
perhaps.
yeah. That's my best guess on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there another one coming?
yes. On March 27th, there's two of them. This is interesting. This could be potentially really exciting. There's two of them. Removing restrictions, which could mean anything, but the other one is account bound. That's all it says. Removing restrictions and account bound.
Wow,
No more soul bound items? Maybe?
that would be so awesome.
No
I
more
don't see the point
soulbound
of soulbound.
legendaries, no more soulbound
Yeah.
armor as far
Oh, that'd be so awesome. Like especially
Yeah.
no more soul legendaries. I could see so many people
because I
just
know
like
that there's people that
jump down.
yes,
like-
people with legendaries would be so happy.
Yeah.
So what I actually have
Do it.
Do it. No more, no more soulbound anything would be so amazing.
Do it. Just fun.
I
Let the fun come.
right, because I understand soulbound stuff, but really, is it really needed?
I don't
Not
think
real.
it's.
No, not really. No, it all it does is if you take something out, and you can't even sell it to a vendor because it's
Yeah.
soulbound. It's like what I could just throw it in the garbage. Like what? Um, what I actually have an experience with this because I had my Tequatl wings.
Right.
When I got my Tequatl wings from the event, was saving them for my Necromancer. And they could only be put on. They were level 80, so you could only put them on a level 80 character. And my Necromancer's like level 40, so I was like, oh, I've got forever to wait until I can get these on my Necromancer. Well, then I found there's a little trick with transmutation stones where if you transmute it with a certain item, like white or blue lower level item, you can get the look of it on a lower level item and thus put it on your lower level character. So I was doing this, but I was doing it on a level 80 with a fine transmutation stone because my lower level character couldn't even take this item out of the bank because it was level 80 or something like that. So my higher level character, my level 80, it was actually my ranger. I did this transmutation, but it made the item soulbound to this character for some reason. I'm not sure what happened in the in translation, but it made it soulbound to my ranger, which I would never want to put my Tequatl wings on. So I was like devastated for the longest time that I had screwed this up, and I could never put my Tequatl wings on any other character, and and I had screwed this up, and I was like, now I'll never have them on my Necromancer. I was so distraught, and but eventually I figured it out. I don't know, I transmuted it with just the right item or something. I don't know what I did, but I figured it out, and now I have them on my Necromancer. But that worried me for like the longest time. I was like, I just screwed this up. And now these Tequatl wings are soulbound to this character, and there's nothing I can do. And I was just like so sad that this one-time item, I had screwed it up. So just to eliminate soulbound items completely from the game would be incredible, because then there wouldn't be those kind of mistakes and those kind of, it would just give more freedom to the game. I mean, you could still make stuff account bound so that you can't sell it on the trading post, or, that there's a reason for stuff to be account bound, and I understand that. But for stuff to be soul bound, just eliminating that would be amazing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Because I think like soulbound item type stuff, and this day and age now in MMO evolution it's just kind of a holdover of old things we just don't need anymore.
Yeah.
Like tab targeted things. Ugh.
What?
Like, or like that thing, like it's like one, like it's one of the best, it's one of the things that Guild Wars 2 has kind of been very kind of revolutionizing on, is that like when you like target a creature and then you're attacking it, and then someone else comes in and attacks it too, you both get the XP from it and the points from it and whatnot. Whereas like the old system that WoW still has and other older MMOs, it's like if you target that creature you're attacking and someone else comes in and helps you, they get nothing. They can't loot it. They don't get any XP from it.
Yeah.
Like, that frustrates the hell out of me, and that thing needs to be taken now.
Yeah.
And I think soulbound items are kind of similar to that. It's this kind of idea. It's like, oh, it has to be, unique or special to you, so it's only on one character, so that if you want it on others, you have to do the same grind over again.
Right.
And it's like, oh man, like it's the same with like having your colors for all your characters in the wardrobe. It's like, like I'm the one who owns all these characters. They're all mine. So it's not like they actually are separate living entities. They're just my characters that I'm playing for what I feel like. So let me access all the stuff that
this is a game.
done.
They're all mine. I am their god, so let me use all of my shit on all of my characters.
Exactly. They have little shrines dedicated to my face. It's like, it's like
right.
We we should like be able to have that for ours, and these features that seem to be coming, and with the way that Arena has been designing this game is very much like let's embrace news and try to actually advance the MMO genre. And this totally feels like it's lock barrel and step, or whatever that expression is, with it, lock step and whatever.
Lock, stock, and barrel.
Yeah. There's actually a movie called that. Yeah, it's just like this feels like it would be a good thing to get rid of Soulbound BS and just
that would be awesome.
The new age, the new age of fun. It's just like I really like that.
We have two more technically. March 28th is a solid foundation.
Whoa.
I don't know what that could mean.
Wow.
No clue. that could mean anything.
Foundation.
A solid foundation. That could mean anything. I don't know. So we'll have to find out what that means. That could just mean changing some more core things about the game that could just be refined a little more, maybe refining core things about the game. I don't know. I have very little guess for that one.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I can't think of anything either, but just more kind of improvements like that. I welcome so much. And
they're very good at that.
It would be great if it was, just because it shows that they're aware that like big improvements need to happen, because this is really sounding like a true kind of X-Pac thing, because if they're implementing all of these things, it's going to really change the game that we know in better ways, but just like it's going to do a lot of wonderful quality of life changes here, like real quality of life change. I can't wait to see this.
The last one, which is actually in 3 different parts, part 1, 2, and 3, on April 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So these are different things, technically, is facilitating friendly play. Which I don't know how they could possibly improve anymore. This is the friendliest MMO in-game experience that is out there. So this is the friendliest any game experience. I mean, how can you get much friendlier in Guild Wars 2? You get experience for rezzing each other. You help each other. You don't share loot. You get your own loot. You both get experience from killing stuff.
You can like share quests without having to click anything.
There's just like I don't know how you can make this game any friendlier, but excellent job. Apparently you can. So I look extremely forward to that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe there's dungeon queues so that if someone quits on you in the middle of a dungeon, it'll automatically bring in a new friend for you to play with. I don't know. But and there's 3 different parts to this. There's not just one thing they're doing. There's 3 separate parts to facilitating friendly play. I don't know. It's amazing.
So what are the other parts to it?
That's it. It's facilitating friendly play part 1, facilitating friendly play part 2, and part 3 on 3 different days. So they've got a lot of different ideas for
the heck are they doing?
I know. Like, how can this game get any friendlier?
This is so mysterious, and there's so much. And this is happening
1,
like
banning trolls. Part 2,
banning trolls. Yeah. If you complain this amount of times, you get banned.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you annoy people in map chat too many times, you get suspended. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to that.
This is so exciting that all these things are coming out within days over the next week and 2.
Yeah, they didn't just give us this massive block of this is what's going on. And there might have been even more. They're doing a lot of their Ready Up podcast type things, like the talks with the developers,
live streams and stuff.
Live streams, thank you. They're doing a lot of those. So they might have even released more than this in those. I haven't watched them yet, but this is crazy exciting. I don't see anything that I specifically think is precursor crafting, so I'm gonna hope Facilitating friendly play, part 2. Precursors for everyone. Precursors for everyone. I will say this, if they're going to... I'm sorry. I will just say quickly that if they're going to implement an account-wide die system, you better sell your dies now, because that is going to drastically drop the price of dies.
Yeah.
So...
Which I'd be fine by. That'd be cool.
Which I would also be fine by, even though I just bought another white die. Another white die.
I wouldn't mind getting some white dies, actually.
I've bought it twice now. It's so unnecessary.
I do like the color of white. Oh, hey, can you change the colors of those, like the fiery and the really glittery white gauntlets that you get from the achievement chest?
No.
Can you change the colors of those? Okay, those are permanent? Okay.
Yeah,
just
those are fixed, unfortunately.
Oh, okay. So that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah, that's kind of a shame, because in Guild Wars 1, the those gauntlets that glow like that are very reminiscent of the Chaos Gloves, as they were called in Guild Wars 1, and it basically just made your hands, like from the elbow down, it just made your arm shining, glowiness. There was no like gauntlet, it was just your hand was glowing, and you could change the color of that glow. So you'd see people going around with like purple glowing hands, green glowing hands, white glowing hands, and that would be so cool to be able to change that in Guild Wars 2. What would be even better is changing the color of back pieces. Would be so cool. If I could change the color of my holographic dragon wings, that would just be about the best thing ever.
I just want, like, on a slightly different subject, I just want to throw in is that I love all this stuff that's coming and all the things that we're talking about here, and this feature patch is sounding pretty good, I gotta say, but I just wish they would let us know on if we're getting new races and when. I like the races and stuff, but I really want some new stuff. I love playing as new races. I want new races. I don't need like a new class per se, but like a lot of people love new classes, but I want new races. Yeah, especially a certain bird-like one. But I just want to know, if we're getting the new races. Just please, just say it. It's making me not be able to wake up in the morning, or it's like let me know. It's like I want to know. You don't even have to say any details of the season 2. Just tell us. Yes, a new race is coming. Okay, just please.
I think you're. That's just the same as people saying, just tell us if there's going to be an expansion, please. Just tell us. There's so many things.
Well,
just tell me when precursor crafting, for the love of God, please. Tell me when I can find my precursor.
Yeah, I just so badly want a new race. I just want a new race, because the Chars still are by far my favorite out of the ones.
No. See, your problem is you just want something other than Char, because that's all you play. So that's why you want another race so bad. There's 4 other races. You say you want a new race. There's 4 other races already in the game. Go play some of those.
They are lame as poop compared to the Chars, so I want the other ones. You haven't
played them. How do you know?
I have played them. That is the thing.
Okay.
I have played them. I just find them, and I'm a huge dinosaur lover. So it's like, if you give me bird people, that's dinosaur people pretty much, please, because there'd be so much diversity that you could change and alter their appearance with birdie people. It'd just be like, I mean, there's so much. I want it so bad. So yeah. I just want a little bit of information. Just say, yes, new races are coming. I could care less about the expansion crap. Just give us seasons, fine. But give me the races now.
Preaching to the choir.
and then they can say when the precursor stuff is too. But I suppose, the lovely thing, of course, about all this is that we really don't have to wait that long, really, when you think about it.
No.
For all these things, like season 2 is going to come soon, within like probably a couple months, probably. Unlike for us WoW fans that have to wait till December 15th, 2014. which won't actually come out that day, but God, we have to wait so long, and Blizzard tells us nothing.
We're so
But yeah,
spoiled.
so
So
we
spoiled
are.
as Guild Wars fans.
It's really nice. You know?
It
We
is.
just like get this like sustained, healthy.
Ah,
It's like a healthy lifestyle that they just like instead of like gorging you on a massive like feast, they just like give you like little bits that
yeah.
are healthy for
I
you.
I
So you,
have to admit, going back and doing this new content every 2 weeks, it's like hard for me to go and play other games because it's like there's more to do in Guild Wars. Like like there's
yeah,
other games that I want to play, but there's nothing else that I feel like I want to get invested into because there's always going to be new Guild Wars stuff to explore. And even if you go in and do the major parts of every patch, in like the first couple days, there's little things to find, and there's little extra things and that you can feast on. You can feast on little bits of story, and you can go out and find the new NPCs and find new dialogue, and there's little bits and pieces to keep you, to keep you fed.
and within like a week or two, you get a new thing. So it's like
Right, and then
not
there's
long to
even
wait.
more.
I mean, so it's like yeah, it's just so nice because like this like whole thing that we've just been doing since January has been we've seen a lot of stuff happen. Whereas like a lot
Oh
of
my
other games are
gosh,
like still
yeah.
waiting. Like they've either been in beta or they're still waiting, or like of course WoW, but like WoW, ESO, WildStar, they've all been either like people have been having to wait or been in beta. Whereas we've had this like massive event happening
Well,
over like
to be
over like a month and a half,
to
and it's
be
been like
fair, there was
wow,
about since when they announced Guild Wars 2 was even a thing, we had to wait about 5 years for it to come out.
right,
So just
yeah,
to be fair, we had to do a lot of waiting before we got this awesomeness. So now we are
oh
reaping
yeah,
the wonderfulness. So
yeah, it's pretty nice.
it is.
And also, I guess I'll just throw in some tiny news opinion because we should probably be ending this.
Yes, we should. I do not
We've
want
been
to hit two
going.
hours. Let's put it that way.
I just want to say I've been going extremely slowly on completing my personal story. I know how it ends because everyone's just talked about it. You know how bad the Zaitan fight is, yada yada yada, and they've been talking about how much they hate Chahern. I kept myself from actually finding out who Chahern was much. I didn't even
That's
know what he
amazing.
actually looked like, and I thought he would be a human, like some kind of warrior, like Logan or something. Because I saw these like cinemas in Guild Wars 2 of this guy with an eye patch. I still don't even know who he is. I thought that was Chahern, and then I found out that Chahern is this like slim, smooth talking, interesting necromancer Sylvari. Which I was like, really?
Not what you were
You're,
expecting.
you are Chahern? Really? You're the guy who takes over and everyone hates and everything? And I was like, I actually like this guy, and he's a
You're
scholar on
not done with the
Zaitan.
living
So,
story yet. That's why you
yeah,
like him. You just met him.
well, I mean, you know, there's like not that many of the personal story left because I'm like in the mid 50s now of my character, so I'll be hitting 80 soon enough. So I mean the end is coming up, and now this is my first time meeting the little plant, and I like him so far. So
Just
if he
wait.
takes center stage, you know, fine. I was
Uh,
just very surprised. I was very surprised because I was expecting some big beefy human, you know, He-Man type thing and
that's
stuff
a
like
very
this.
interesting perspective. Is this long into
So
it
far,
and just meeting that iconic character? That's an interesting perspective. So, yeah.
yeah. So
All right, we're
that
going
was
to
my,
wrap this up. So thank you so much for watching. Leave questions if you have any questions, and of course leave your comments and let us know what you thought about the living story. I want to hear what is everyone's what is your favorite, what was your favorite release of season
yeah.
one. Like what the Dragon Bash, Tower of Nightmares, Queen's
Halloween.
Jubilee, Halloween, Winter's Day, just to name very few. Which one was your favorite, and what about it did you like? That I really want to see. Maybe we'll make a poll, and maybe next time we'll see which one won. What was
That's a good
everybody's favorite?
idea.
Yeah, we're gonna
That's
announce
a
the
good idea.
winner. So leave which one was your favorite. And then next time we will announce which one won for the best living story update of season 1.
And the prize will be a feeling of goodness. Because we're cheap, so.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And we will see you next time. Enjoy.
See you guys. Sayonara.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to GuildGab
And BartGab.
and BartGab.